Episode 5. The episode will open up at Winterfell, where we'll see the ruins of the aftermath of the Battle of Winterfell. Everyone is tired, but before they can rest for a while before departing for Dragonstone, they need to burn the dead and pay their respects. Yeah, that's right, the next location for Jon and Dany and their forces is Dragonstone. One of the teasers provided this shot of Dany standing in front of a fireplace, with her back turned to Jon, and details on that fireplace confirm they are at Dragonstone. I have already talked too much about it in my previous videos, but in case you missed it, here's how we know it's Dragonstone. Take a look at all the details on this shot, from the fireplace itself to its props, the stone curves and the metalwork. It's the same thing we already saw at Dragonstone. The reason they are going to Dragonstone rather than straight to King's Landing to fight Cersei is probably because Dany left some of her forces there to defend Dragonstone, but also because Dragonstone will be the place where they'll forge a new plan of defeating Cersei. Anyways, as I said, before they sail to Dragonstone, they will have quite a few scenes in Winterfell. They will firstly burn their dead, and pay respects to those many that were lost, including Theon Greyjoy, Lyanna and Jorah Mormont, Beric Dondarrion, Ed, Connor and Melisandre. Here we see the mass funeral pyres with the surviving characters in attendance. From left to right, the torchbearers are Tormund, Jon, Sansa, Arya, Grey Worm, Dany and Sam. Also present are Jon Royce, Davos Seavard, Bran Ghost, Varys Missandei, Brienne, Tyrion and Jaime. Out of everyone, Dany lost the most. From advisors and generals, Jorah and Connor, to most of her armies, the Dothraki and the Unsullied. I would be surprised if, after the Battle of Winterfell, she has more than 100 Unsullied and even fewer Dothraki left. However, there's a possibility that not all the Dothraki died in the Battle of Winterfell. As Dothraki erects, fire slowly died in the dark, we are left to assume all of them died, but that might not be the case. During the episode, we saw multiple times how winter extinguishes fire, so maybe it extinguished fire on Dothraki erects as well, and not all of them died, but instead ran away into darkness. The reason behind this possibility is that we never saw them die. We saw the lights go off, but that's it. They could have clashed a bit, then split off and retreated somewhere else. One big evidence for this is Ghost. Ghost disappeared and did not return just like most of the Dothraki, so you would assume he died, but in the trailer for next episode he's back alive and not injured. Maybe, just maybe, there's more Dothraki that survived the Battle of Winterfell. Anyways, there's not much time left to mourn their death. Dany is quick to start her new campaign for the Iron Throne, starting with rallying her battered followers at Winterfell. We have won the Great War, she says. Now we'll win the last war. Dany raises her cup as her followers rejoice. There's a ton of cheering for Dany. It looks like she's won the North's respect. The North was tough to accept a new ruler, but Dany earned it, and not only with her dragons but with her herself fighting on the ground with a sword to defend the North. Soon after they will ride out of Winterfell and leave for White Harbor to their ships and then travel to Dragonstone. Sansa will probably not be coming with them, and neither will Arya Stark. Sansa will likely stay at Winterfell, but Arya will go for King's Landing. Even though Jon, Dany and their crew's ultimate destination is go to King's Landing and fight Cersei, they will firstly take some time to rally the forces and forge a plan at Dragonstone. Arya will go on her own mission to shut the Green Eyes, Cersei's eyes, and she will be accompanied by the Hound. This was confirmed by some official teases. Maisie Williams said this for Arya's story for Season 8. There's this split with Arya between trying to be who she wants to be, getting back to that naivete and innocence with her family, and her unfinished business. I was correct when I predicted that what this means is that Arya will stick with her family and fight for Winterfell against the Night King in episode 3, which she did. But when she realizes that Cersei is the final threat and her family will not be safe as long as Cersei lives, she'll have to say a temporary goodbye to her family and go on to complete her infamous list. Arya will go on her own mission, and she will likely be accompanied by the Hound. There's a high possibility that Arya will travel to King's Landing to put an end to Cersei, who, let me remind you, has green eyes, or at least to try. Rory McCann, who plays the Hound, also hinted at this, when he gave us a hint at a confrontation between the Hound and the Mountain by saying there will be a chance of squaring up to his brother and facing those demons. Before they depart for King's Landing, she will have one last moment with Gendry. All of our favorite characters share the same goal, defeat and kill Cersei Lannister. Some will firstly go to Dragonstone and wait to rally all the forces before marching into the last war, while others will try to sneak up into the Red Keep and end Cersei's reign this way. Killing the Night King is not the end of Game of Thrones as many thought it would be, and instead the final battle will be with Cersei. Even though I'm surprised the Night King was defeated this early, I'm not surprised Cersei is the final enemy, because George R. R. Martin revealed way back in 2015 that it would be her and not the Night King. With the Night King dead, Dany's next target is Cersei Lannister. There's no talking to her, she's the biggest threat to stability. Even at the end of Season 7 there seems to be a coming together of everyone but her. An actor who plays Varys said and added that Varys is frightened for her. He's aware of how dangerous she is, and how bad she is. He also revealed that we could see Varys somehow aid Dany and her allies using his former spy network in King's Landing, the same ones now working for Qyburn. Hill said for a while Varys was in Marine, so it wasn't as strong a connection, but supposedly he still did have them, yeah. Maybe the little birds would turn on Qyburn. Or maybe Qyburn has been working for Varys all along, as my very popular theory suggests. We'll see. What we know is that Varys will continue serving Targaryens, and he will most likely make them a new allegiance that will provide them thousands of more soldiers, and it's going to be with none less than with Cersei's own alliance and mercenary organization, the Golden Company. Conleth Hill, an actor who plays Varys, teased that Varys will be as effective as always in Season 8. What this means and foreshadows is Varys turning the Golden Company against Cersei and Euron, persuading them to fight for the last Rhaegar's son, Aegon Targaryen, since after all, black or red, a dragon is still a dragon. We have been listening over and over again how the Golden Company have never broken a contract, that them breaking it and supporting Targaryens seems like such an obvious twist of the final season. Additionally, the Golden Company have already broken a contract in the books, and you guessed who was the reason, a Targaryen. At this point, Cersei received news of the living defeating the dead at Winterfell, and she's fully aware that the living led by Jon and Dany will come for her now. Cersei is prepared as she watches her troops assemble in King's Landing. I can bet you she is preparing the wildfire below King's Landing. Euron is by Cersei's side, and a bit later we see him kneel before a smiling Cersei. What I think happens here is Cersei tells Euron she's pregnant and it's his child, so Euron kneels and asks for her hand in marriage. I believe Cersei is pregnant for real, and she'll tell Euron he is the father. That's why she slept with him. The Season 7 official scripts not only prove that her pregnancy is real, but she was also supposed to have a miscarriage in Season 7 finale, which was cut at the last moment. It's going to be interesting to see how all this plays out. We also have a shot of Cersei, accompanied by the Mountain, Euron and Qyburn standing in wait. What are they looking at? Or who are they waiting for? Leaked photos might answer that question. It could be Jon Snow coming on Rhaegal to parley with Cersei. Jon Snow will return to King's Landing in Episode 4. For the first time in the history of the series, star Kit Harington was filmed shooting something in Dubrovnik, meaning that Jon is headed back to King's Landing at some point in Season 8, and since the director of Episode 4 was seen on set, we can say for a fact that this will take place in Episode 4. In this photo, Kit Harington is at Dubrovnik Minsera Tower, which is part of the city walls. Cersei and Jon Snow meet one-on-one in King's Landing. Well, not exactly one-on-one, as Cersei has the Mountain and Queen's Guard around. I think Jon is coming to parley with Cersei and try to prevent another war that is going to make many more casualties. I think Jon will come with Rhaegal, who by the way survived the Battle of Winterfell and has his wing torn, and Jon will basically show her they still have dragons, and offer her a peaceful deal. No war, no revenge, she just has to leave King's Landing with her armies, and go to Casterly Rock, leaving the Iron Throne for Dany. Cersei will of course choose violence and war, and that's how this parley will end. The only option left for Jon and Dany at this point is to rip out Cersei, root and stem, or at least they will try in Episode 5. As I said in the beginning, the episode is a build-up episode for the last war, the battle for the Iron Throne that comes in Episode 5. It's this episode that will give us an answer on who sits on the Iron Throne at the end. In conclusion, what we know about Episode 4 of the final season is it will open up at Winterfell where we'll see the aftermath of the Great War, with the survivors burning their dead. There will be a huge meeting at Winterfell, where Dany will announce they are going into their last war, the one against Cersei. They will soon after depart for White Harbor, the main seaport of the north, and travel back to Dragonstone where they will rally their forces and forge plan for attack on King's Landing. Sansa and Arya Stark will not go with them. Sansa will most likely stay at Winterfell, while official thesis confirmed Arya will depart from her family, upon realizing the Starks will never be safe as long as Cersei lives. Cersei is the green eyes Arya needs to shut forever, and she will go on that mission with the Hound, who also has to face his brother who happens to be Cersei's personal guard. Jon will meet Cersei to try and convince her to leave King's Landing, leave the Iron Throne for Dany so they all could live, but Cersei will choose violence, as she has no intention of giving away her crown, especially now that her armies are stronger and she has new scorpions to deal with dragons. Episode 4 is going to be a great episode, but it's Episode 5 and the things will actually go down. Episode 5 is just like Episode 3, directed by Miguel Sapochnik, and is confirmed to be the last and the final battle of Game of Thrones, the Last War. At the end of Episode 5 we'll know who won the Game of Thrones. Okay guys, that will be everything we know about the Season 8 Episode 4, supported with all the trailers, teasers, previews and a few spoilers. How do you like the 4th episode of the final season, and what do you think will also take place? Please make sure to let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to subscribe to our channel.